and gentlemen, I ask that you please join me in welcoming on stage to the podium right opposite Anna Roy. Anna, ma'am, we'll have you take that podium to the right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Anna, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thanks to the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I'll start with a few disclaimers. First of all, I'm not an urban expert. I'm also not a realty sector expert, so RERA, its impact, next steps, other real estate related issues, I may not be, I am not the best person to opine on that. But what I am is, in my past avatar, I have worked as a public-private partnership policy maker. I was involved in PPPs to start with, and during my entire career graph, I have seen infrastructure sector reforms as well as how the policies have shaped over time. So I bring that knowledge, but today what I'm going to speak is on a new initiative which, besides driving urbanization, it is hope that it will also drive the reality sector, real estate sector, in a manner which is not ad hoc, which is not reactive, which is more sustainable, financeable, and long-term. This is the Growth Hub initiative which I will be presenting today. So I guess they don't have a, so I'll just speak from here. So this is the Growth Hub initiative which was launched by NITI Aayog in 2023. As you can see from this graph, you know, urban areas are very important. They are natural engines of growth, and we have cities which are larger than nation states. Also Indian cities, you know, greater Mumbai, Delhi, they do compare well with some of the smaller countries as shown in this chart. But where are we? Where is India in this global scenario? In India also we have seen a rapid growth in urbanization, and as per estimates, thank you. And as per estimates, this growth is expected to rise, and urban centers, which despite accounting for 3% land, actually contributes up to 65% of GDP. And by 2047, almost 50% of the population is expected to reside in urban areas. So obviously urbanization is very important, but how do you urbanize? How do you grow your cities? Do you grow, let them grow in organically, or do you plan for it? That is what I will be presenting. So while urbanization has grown in India, we also see a lot of problems, and sitting in Delhi, this is the best place to see the problems associated with urbanization in this country. We have urban sprawls, we have master plans. Many of the provisions are not implemented. They become very bureaucratic, red tape, and they focus more on the physical side. There is no economic vision to our urban planning. We have major institutional gaps. Delhi, as I said, is a typical example. And when you look at global cities, our cities do not feature in the top, even the top 100 global cities. And we talk about Viksit Bharat, making India a developed country by 2047 with a $30 trillion. A large portion of this will come from urban areas, but this cannot be achieved unless we shift the approach in managing urbanization. So this is all about planning. And this was the vision of CEO NITI Aayog, and he gave this task to me that how do we plan long term for urban growth with the economics perspective. So we are a think tank, we do a lot of research. We started by studying some of the best cases globally. We studied 12 city development plans. We studied 22 overall, project overall growth and development plans where urbanization was a chapter in the report. And studying these 34 reports, what we focused on was to identify the strategies which were adopted, analyze the economic aspect in these plans, identify the levers which were targeted, and do a comparative analysis. So we have tried to, kind of cover it in one slide. And on the extreme left, you see the particulars, then the levers, and then it shows we have covered 11 cities in this slide. And it shows that in the individual city plans, what were the levers which they kind of stressed at. Basis this examination, we came to 10 inferences which had to be covered in any urban plan, and 4 major areas which any urban plan should cover: policy, infrastructure, regulatory, and governance. We called it the Growth Hub Initiative. And what the Growth Hub Initiative in sum proposes is 4 major mindshift changes, including a proactive rather than being reactive, where you see that, something is growing unplanned, then you expand the municipal boundaries, or you start planning for water, drainage, infrastructure, etc. Have a economic aspect to the whole thing while planning proactively. Don't only look at economic growth, but also look at quality of life, that is livability of these cities, as well as sustainability. And don't plan for cities as per their administrative boundaries, but look at a regional aspect. And lastly, propose institutional interventions, because if you plan for the future and keep using institutional mechanisms which were devised many decades back, then you do not really achieve the results. In order to develop process templates, 4 pilots were taken, and 2 of the reports have already been launched. One is Surat Economic Region, the other is MMR, and they are under implementation. So I have just tried to sum up some of the major recommendations. And on the left are for the Surat Economic Region, where we are proposing development of zones based on growth drivers, identification of growth driver. And on the right is for MMR. So very, very futuristic. What we have not included is projects to meet the latent demand, but to be very aspirational, and then include those projects which can really transform the cities as cities of future. So I will just briefly present what were our findings in the case of Surat Economic Region. So for the Surat Economic Region, by the way, the plan is there on the website. You can check out the plan. And we have proposed 54 projects, 4 development zones, and several policy unlocks. We studied 85 reports. We received more than 20 proposals, project proposals from stakeholders. We had more than 15 meetings with the government officials, and more than 50 meetings with the industry associations. We did a detailed SWOT for the region, and we also gave the aspiration of the region. Like in the we had the benefit of looking at the having the vision, the Vix Gujarat Vision document. And we compared it to the Vix Gujarat targets of growth by 2047 and 2030. But the state government then told us, no, Surat has a much more potential. And if we are doing an economic plan, we need to kind of peg it at a higher level. So you see, the state actually aspires to make it a 1.3 to 1.5 trillion economy by 2047. And this is the what they are proposing to do sectorally. That's indicated on the right-hand side. We gave them a tagline, a pro-earth, pro-people and inclusive growth approach, because talking simply about economics and mere projects or physical projects without the overall, sentiments, community involvement, inclusivity at various levels, then it's not a sustainable plan. We identified the endowments of the region. We also looked at the global and national trends. And then we identified the growth drivers. Now, this is very interesting in the sense that when we first went to the state government, we wanted to expand the manufacturing and push this region up on the value addition in apparel and jewelry. And they said, we don't want to expand it. Labor is high cost here. We cannot sustain more migration. Our system cannot withstand. So they instead moved to, in these two cases, both jewelry and apparel, which Surat is a center, they moved to a service economy. And then real estate we had not included. This was a growth driver which the state said we must work on real estate. And besides the city region development, they also identified a big track between the HSR, high-speed railway, and the expressway. And they said, this is greenfield, we want to develop this entire stretch. So when you see our report, you'll find many greenfield and brownfield projects in the real estate segment there, besides several others. Like in higher education, education hub has been proposed, and several other, in case of the apparel and jewelry, we have proposed a B2C and a B2B zones, one within Surat, one outside Surat. So these were all the estimated investment and estimated land required was indicated. These are some of the details. We also proposed an overarching institutional framework, and it is very heartening to see that the state government is already working on it. These were some of the projects. We also identified the locations for 31 of these projects. Not all locations you can identify at the beginning, but we were able to identify location for 31 projects. And these were the policy unlocks also, that unless you do, take action on these policy, it will be difficult to achieve the target set. And this is the institutional arrangement that we proposed, because we were talking about a region and not a city. In this region, there are 6 districts, including Surat. And for that, an overarching mechanism is involved, where all the entities are speaking to each other and they work in a cohesive manner. We also gave roles and responsibilities as well as source of income for many of the entities. So this was a very brief presentation on what we are trying to do in preempting and planning for a rapid growth of urban areas, which will then throw up projects which will have an economic stream to make them viable, financially viable, and also sustainable. And with that, we hope that we will be able to kind of rapidly, already infrastructure has been growing at a rapid phase, but for urban infrastructure, we feel this initiative can really kind of give a big push in having new projects. The Urban Challenge Fund has been announced in the budget by Honorable Finance Minister this year. which says that 25% of the grant funds will come from state government, but the condition being that 50% of the project cost must be from the market. That is, the project must be self-sustaining, and this kind of a plan, economic plan, we feel will help us in getting these kind of projects first on the drawing board and then off the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anna ma'am, for that rich, insightful presentation. And I ask that you please remain on stage with us for a moment longer, ma'am. We'd like to essentially present you with a token of our appreciation. If I could have Rohit Chadda back on stage to do just that. It's very heartening to hear everything that NITI Aayog is doing with respect to managing urbanization in this country, and it gives all of us in the room a lot of reason for hope. So with that, ma'am, thank you so much for being here. A small token of our gratitude. From etnow.in. Lovely.